Hi everyone. Once again, there is no intro or outro with my face. It's just a voiceover. This time it wasn't on purpose. It was simply because the clips that I filmed where I was speaking to the camera did not record any audio. So here we go. Today I am painting in my sketchbook this self-portrait that I pre-drew sometime last week. And today is just a study in watercolor and mixed media with my normal acrylic as well. So that's what I am getting ready to do here. I'm about to start filling in the face, and the face will be in watercolor. I apologize for the ladder in the shot. We're renovating the house right now, and there's really no place that's aesthetically pleasing. So here I am. This color is actually an orange, but it translates really yellow on camera. You'll see the true color. I will pan at the end to show you the finished result. But this is just layer one. If you've worked with watercolor before, you know that you do need to work in layers in order to achieve shadows and highlights, because watercolor is water activated. And so if you don't wait for it to dry completely, the water you place on the next layer will just move around the paint that you've already laid down. This again is just in a sketchbook, so I'm not being super picky about it. I'm not really using my fine motor skills. I'm just being free, feeling out the paint, seeing where it takes me. It's been a long time since I've done watercolor, and I just really want to get back into it and understand the paint again. So as you can see, even though I am layering the paint, you can still see all of my pencil marks. That's a very normal thing for watercolor, and most people aim to achieve that look. They like for you to be able to see the pencil or pen underneath of it. However, there are some artists who prefer to just work with the watercolor without using anything pre-drawn. They just go in straight with the paint to avoid any markings being visible underneath. There is really no way that I know of, at least, to avoid seeing pencil marks unless you were to do them really very fine or possibly erase them before you were to get started. But that's the beauty of watercolor, is it can be very textured and different like this. Personally, I like having very textured, quirky, detailed pieces. Watercolor was actually the first paint I used, and for a while I swore it was the only paint I would ever use, that I hated acrylic. So it feels good to be back in something that was once so comfortable for me. And as a lot of you know, I do portrait work and animal work quite often. So I find that self-portraits are one of the best ways, for me at least, to practice whenever I want to sit down and really try my hand at a new skill, or maybe something that I haven't done in a long time. I've been doing self-portraits for a really long time, and I recommend them to anyone looking to learn portrait work, or how to draw or paint more realistic, specifically with human beings, obviously. But also for anyone who just wants to get better at proportions. Maybe you already draw people, you're just looking to understand facial structure better, whatever the case may be. Don't be too overly critical, though. I learned years ago that one eyelid sits lower than the other on my face, and I haven't let it go since. So now I'm going to get ready and paint the background. The background is not in watercolor, it is in acrylic. I did the background in acrylic, one, because like I said, I want to get back into mixing my mediums. It was something I did a lot when I was first starting out in the art world. Oh, sorry about that. I totally forgot. My camera actually fell halfway through filming, and I had to reposition it and turn it back on. And I didn't realize as I was recording that you couldn't see half of the sketchbook. But that's okay. You guys aren't missing much, and you will see it in the pan at the very end. But like I said, the mixing of mediums was something I did a lot when I first started out as an artist. And it is something I want to get back into. I love the textures that you can create. I love the variance in color, all sorts of things. Since this is a sketchbook and the paper is not really designed to hold a lot of paint, as you can see where I've placed the watercolor, it's very wrinkly. I'm not going to put more than just this one quick little layer over the background. I didn't have plans of painting the hair on this one, and I don't end up painting it. It just stays white. I do paint in these little odd shapes on the left-hand side. If you can see them, they will be a different color. I had no purpose behind the background other than I just wanted to mix some colors together, and I wanted to kind of color block in an abstract way with no deeper meaning. I don't really work abstractly, so that was, I guess, another little practice, little study for me. I haven't done anything like that in a really long time, since I was in high school, probably. So I thought it would be good to sort of stretch that muscle a little bit. For my commission work that I do, I usually use Liquitex acrylic paints. When I'm doing things like this, just in my sketchbook or something really quick or something for myself, I'm usually just using whatever paint I can find. The stuff from Target, the 50-cent tubes from the craft store, from Walmart. It all works really well. I do, like I said, like to use quality paint for my commissions, but for things like this, if you're wondering what you should get or pick up at the store for practices like this, I would go with the cheap stuff. So that second color is sort of a maroon, and what you can't see me doing here below the maroon is like a baby blue blob. Say that 5 times fast. You will see that at the end of the video. Again, I'm so sorry I didn't realize that you couldn't see half of the sketchbook. And I'm sorry there's no video of me talking to you. I promise we'll get there. I'm really trying. Next episode, who do I think I am? The next video will be, I believe, will be a how-to, or it will be a commission vlog. I think I'm going to do the how-to first. It's going to be real simple, just how to draw an eyeball, in my style, of course. So stay tuned for that. Getting ready to fill in the last little blob up there at the top. Here I am filling in that last little blob. Again, not a super thick layer of paint, just because this is a little practice, a little study. It's sort of like a teal color. I'm not one to usually mix colors thoroughly before placing them down onto whatever I'm painting. I like them to mix as the brush is covering the canvas or the paper, so that's what you see happening here. And then where the blue and the maroon overlapped, I tried to sort of create a medium color between the two of those to show the overlap. Didn't really translate the way that I wanted to, but this was just practice, so I'm learning. I'm just going in, touching up some of the edges. And then I decided to go back into the portrait, the face, and add a little bit more depth to the orange that I had already laid down. I chose a red. Didn't add a lot, just a little bit. I felt it gave it a nice little pop. I could have added a ton more, but I was pretty pleased with what I chose in the end. Again, this was just a study. I may go and create this as a final piece at some point, but I am happy with the way that it turned out. You will see that here in a second. Don't forget, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe.